live.
We are live.
So bright over here.
Sunny spot. Hello, person that is on there watching. We're about to get going in a couple minutes. We want to blast this off shortly before 6 because last time we had a few technical difficulties firing up.
Yeah, we're good at a lot of things, but technology isn't our forte. But hey, this is the world we live in, so we have to use it. But I'm glad you are on right now. We're just going to wait a few more minutes to get started. But we're very excited to talk to you about something that we both really love to do, which is strength and performance.
Hell yeah.
Mm-hmm. I like to perform.
We sure do. And as you said in the beginning, we suck at certain things. But this is something no one wants to suck at, is their performance or their strength. It doesn't matter if you're male or female, but feeling good in our body, feeling strong in our body is hyper important. So we're going to give you guys and girls 5 easy steps that we can do to make this better.
Just 5 though.
Just 5.
We could probably rattle off about 62, but we're going to keep it simple and stick to 5 that you can take home today and use it pretty much every day of your life for the rest of your life. And it's going to be a lot longer when you do these 5 things.
Exactly. And this is great if you're a person who, you're really committed to the workout, you want to see changes, but you're not. So hopefully this should really unearth some things that you can do and little tweaks to get you there. Pat and I both have experiences in our life where we're trying to make changes and we're so close and we figured out that one little key thing, and it's pretty surprising. And now in our lives, we get to see this every day with patients and really help them put together that one extra piece or make that little adjustment to get to where we want to be.
And a lot of these things have to do with a lot of people work really, really hard and don't hit their goals, but they just keep working harder and harder, but still never get there. They might be missing a lot of these tips or these things that we're doing. So let's make life easy. If you put it all together and then you put in the work in, you want to see those rewards. No one wants to work hard and not succeed. It's probably one of the worst feelings. It's better off to do nothing
100%.
than to work hard and not see those.
Especially in America, we live in a very go, go, go culture. And as Pat said, oftentimes when we don't get the results, we just keep going. So we're going to talk about today some of the back end part of that, of stimulus is part of it, but how we recover and repair, that's huge too, because that's the actual result. Mm-hmm. Well, I see that it's 6 o'clock now, and we do want to respect everybody's time. So we're going to go ahead and get started. Tonight, we're going to give everybody 5 easy tips that they can implement today to increase and optimize or enhance your performance and your strength, because we all want both of those things.
So when he said we are going to give you those 5 tips, I'm Dr. Patrick Cucarola, and this is Dr. Sam Wagg. We're with Fixed Body Group. We help people improve their lives. There's a whole bunch of different ways that we do that. One of them is education, which is why you guys are here.
So we do this twice a month. This is the first one for this month, and we're going to go through those 5 tips. Patrick, go ahead and take it away. At the end of this, we'll summarize them. We're going to give you 5 easy things that you can do.
So the 5 things that we are going to enhance and optimize, expedite, a whole bunch of different things. But the 5 things that we are going to cover today that in regards to strength and performance are recovery, working out, fueling your workouts, as well as supplementing those workouts in your life. And then we're going to end with stretching and mobility and how that all ties in to increase your strength and your performance.
Just take it away with the recovery.
All right. Recovery. So one of the things that we just talked about is people just keep go, and they work out. I was like, I ran 120 miles last week and it's just not improving and I'm breaking down. It's not all about how much or the intensity that you're putting your body through. You need to give your body a little recovery, and that comes down to not these nonstop workouts, these 7 days a week kind of things. You need to have some breaks. You need to let your body recover. The purpose of working out essentially is breaking the body down, and then your body recovers and it repairs and it goes up above where it used to be. Mm-hmm. It's this roller coaster, but each recovery you get higher and higher, and then you get to be like Sam. So it's not always about just push yourself those 8 times a week workouts. But on those days that you are having your non-intense workout or anything like that, you can be active, and that's called active rest. So say we're hitting the gym and we're lifting weights 5 days a week. on that break, you can still go for a walk. You can still go play some tennis, go on a hike, enjoy yourself, but you can still be active, but you're just not pushing your body to that high intensity level. So your body's still able to recover. And that's the point of working out, right? Is we're trying to recover. So we're getting back to that top level or past that level that we were before.
I like what you said about active recovery and kind of active rest. Can you explain how that is more helpful as opposed to just not going to the gym and not doing anything, that non-workout day?
People like to have what are they called? Vacation days or their cheat days. They're like, they work really hard and then they just lay on the couch and indulge in cake and pizza and everything like that. So you put in all that work and then you didn't just drop down and let your body recover. You took it down to another notch. So active rest is just getting your body moving, and you're still getting the blood pumping and you're still getting your body, I guess, moving so it can recover. It's going to help with the inflammation. It's going to help with what's called lactic acid, which is that burn. It's flushing that out, and your body's not just getting really tight. We all know what that feels like when we work really hard and then we just tighten up and you can't move. If you keep the body lightly moving, it doesn't go through that, and it helps with the recovery and it helps with the repair process.
Yeah. And that's when we create that stimulus, like Pat said in a workout, if these are my muscle fibers, that stimulus should tear those muscle fibers and actually create some breaking. What we want to happen is our body to overcompensate and rebuild those much stronger. But in that process, say we do bench press and then we don't stretch or move at all that next day, all of that tension, it's going to be hard to even go through the range of motion. So doing that stretching, that active recovery where you're moving the muscle and taking it through the range of motion helps those tissues to actually repair in that correct orientation and make you even stronger.
Yeah. So bring that right back into an injury. It's the same thing. You're just, I guess there's an acute injury and then there's an injury caused by working out. If you're just sit there and do nothing, your body lays down scar tissue and it doesn't get that movement back. So most injuries, we try to get you moving quicker and quicker because that's going to help your body repair. Same kind of process, just different traumatic events. Exactly.
So the next thing we'll talk about on recovery is our sleep. We talk about this, I feel like every time we talk about something when it comes to healing our body, but sleep is vitally important. It's the time that our body does repair. It's like bringing your body to an auto body shop or a mechanic and dropping it there overnight. The more time you can leave your body with the mechanic, the more work is going to get done. So going back to what I said in the very beginning, we're a very go culture. If you're trying to jam everything in, you have these really long 14, 16, 18-hour days where you're getting that workout, you're on your feet nonstop, and then you finally crash for a few hours, 4 or 5 hours. Yes, a human can survive on that, but it is nowhere near optimal for you to have the energy levels that you want or for your body to release all the hormones that it needs to repair your body while you sleep. That's it. Long sleep. Like, you have to do it.
We all know what it feels like when you don't get enough sleep and you just feel tired and fatigued. That's what you are feeling, but your body's feeling that too without that mental awareness. And so it's not doing the work. If I don't get a good night's sleep and I go to work, I'm not as productive because my body needs to rest and recover. Same thing for my muscles and joints. You need that rest and recovery, and that happens through sleep.
You can think of that almost in your body as having a night shift and a day shift. Your day shift is working during the day. It's all of the activities that you're doing, what you're eating, the mental stresses that you're taking on, the physical stresses that you take on. Now your night shift has to repair and rebuild from all the damage that's done during the day. So if you're not giving your night shift anywhere near the amount of time, and your night shift doesn't need quite as much because there's not as many distractions, but it needs time. So that's tip number one for recovery, not nonstop working out, but getting sleep. So counteracting your stimulus with enough sleep to recover, but also not having nonstop stimulus so that our body can take some time to repair. Let's get into how we fuel ourselves.
Ooh, I like fuel. That's fun. Sleeping, eating, big fan of both of those. So fueling for your workout. There's things called like fasted cardio, and those have their own purpose. But for your actual real intensive workouts, your body needs fuel. It's just like a I guess gas in your car. You're not going to get very far if it's not fueled up. So you need to supply it with the nutrients and the energy, and that can come from things called glycogen and glucose. It's looked at badly when you talk about diabetes and your glucose levels, but your body actually needs it. So if you're not supplying it with that fuel, you're not going to have the energy to produce the amounts of force that you want to in your workout. You're not going to have the energy just to do the workout in general. And then your body's using other sources for energy, and you're not going to have the biggest bang for your, the buck or the effects that you truly want.
Yeah. The other end of that is, do you have fuel to recover from what you did? So part of it is that kind of that gas in your vehicle to get there. But on the other end, I don't know, a fluid in a vehicle that would be the same. But
it doesn't have to be a car all the time.
Exactly. I'm going to get into a whole other analogy soon. I can't wait.
King of analogy.
Yeah, this was. I literally was thinking. That's why I was spaced out there for a minute. With the fuel, it's those pieces that are needed for the repair. So your night shift, do they have the tools that they need? And the better the tool is, like the quality of the food. The higher quality food, when we're having our grass-fed food, our organic food that don't have all these additional inflammatory properties or make us more sick, that's going to really allow our body to take those kind of building blocks and repair our tissues. And you are what you eat. So you can think about it in that way. Are we putting in quality materials to rebuild our body from the stimulus that we're creating?
The same thing goes with proteins and what are we going into, fats and all of that type of stuff, and glucose. If you're not fueling your body with those types of things, then it really can start stealing away from the stuff that we want to rebuild and repair. One of them being protein. Yeah. If your body is using your protein to do the workout, then it's not going to have those stores to actually rebuild that. And we know what protein does. We all know what, protein. We all need protein. Like for me, it's protein. Yes, protein. Plenty of that. But there's different ways that you can use it. And it's all about getting that right amount. And that's where you can talk to any of us or any professional, and they can really coach you on what those right amounts are for the actual workout and for fueling your day, as well as that recovery and the timing of those types of things.
Like what Pat said about the protein, if you're using it to do your workout, you can't use it to repair from the workout. And I think I say this every day, our bodies are hyper intelligent, and I'm never lying when I say it. Your body won't build more muscle if it doesn't have an excess of protein, because it's going to keep what it needs to do the basic things that we need. And that goes for fat as well. Our body is not going to burn it if we don't have enough of it for the base product, things that we have to get done, meaning chemical processes that happen in our body. We're getting too sciencey, so we're going to slow this down. So we've done recovery and fuel so far, but what most people are thinking about when it's strength and performance is that workout. So let's talk about that. This is something that is kind of near and dear to me because I come from a running background myself, and I see this with patients all the time. Yeah, I say I come from, I don't love it. It'd be different than saying I love to. Anyways, with our clients, oftentimes someone will be wanting to make a change in their physical appearance, and they say, I got into running, started running. And that does not have to be the start of working out. Running can be a great recreation. It can be a great way to exercise your body, but we can walk before we run. The reason I say this is, hypothetically, if I was really overweight and I wanted to drop weight, that additional weight that I'm carrying on my body is already adding stress on my organs and on my joints. That would be similar to me going out on the strength floor right now and having way too much weight on the bench press and telling Patrick, on the squat rack, and saying that was really hurting my low back. And if Patrick's reply to that was continue to add weight, that's kind of like those joints that are telling the body, hey, I'm kind of hurting. And now we're going to add and increase that stimulus. When we go and run, it's how many times are we having that impact coming down on your ankle, on your knee, and on your hip? So when we talk about the stimulus, I'm not here to deter people from running, but we want to make sure that we're doing things in an appropriate time for our body, because it doesn't mean that same person couldn't get to running. We just have to go through, maybe remove some of that weight first before this becomes a really effective form.
Yeah. And on that note, when you're talking about injuries and those types of things, we treat a lot of runners who have been running for a long time, and probably every single one that comes in, one of the first things we do to repair that runner's knee, that runner's hip, is to strengthen it, because you need to build up that stability so you can go run. So a lot of people start off with just like, I'm just going to go run to drop the weight, but their body's not prepared for it. And adding in that strength component so you can do those things is a big part. So that's that walk, stabilize before you get running. And same thing, if you're just working out, you need to start off a little bit slow, let your body adapt, build up the strength, and then you push it farther and farther. And
if running is something that you're very into and you want it to be your exercise, there's nothing wrong with that. But I mean, no offense in this. Just because you can run does not mean that you should or you're doing it right. So if you want to run, you should reach out and work with someone, just like if you were to pick up another completely new sport. Remember, running is an Olympic sport that people have become extremely efficient at. So just because you're not trying to be in the Olympics doesn't mean you shouldn't run with the same mechanical principles as those people, because that's how you avoid injury. And that's how we actually maximize what our body can do. And that is actually one of my reasons for loving running, is it's a very true push of physically what our bodies are capable of. And I think some of the most amazing like human performance things have to do with either time or distance, either how fast or how long they could go.
They were born to run.
Born to run.
Great book, by the way.
Yes.
The next thing we want to talk about is the rep range and intensity of your workouts. And this is how you can really build up your strength and performance. So there's, I guess the science is different rep ranges. So how many times you're pushing that weight and how high of an intensity you are is going to stimulate your body to do different things. The easiest ways to remember is low reps. So maybe doing 1 to 4 reps at a very high intensity. So a high weight, or even if you're running a very fast sprint, but not for a very long time, you're going to build up more of that strength. That's why when you see those sprinters, they don't look like those marathon runners. They are pushing themselves extremely fast for short distances, and you can see the muscle gain on them. Then you start getting into what's called hypertrophy, which is basically the muscles are getting bigger. They usually get stronger at the same time, but they're specifically getting bigger. That's hypertrophy. That's when you get into the ranges of 6 to 12. And the intensity drops a little bit from your, low reps because you can't do it, but you're still pushing yourself to a pretty close to max ability. Like if I can lift 200 pounds, but I can only do it twice, if I'm going to jump up to 8 reps, I'm probably going to drop down to around 160, 175. But at the end of each of those reps, I'm going to be like pretty struggling because I'm pushing myself to close to my max load, and the body's going to be stimulated in a different way. And that's how you can build up that hypertrophy and strength. Now, both of those do build size as well as strength. There's just different sciences behind it. Then when you get up a little bit higher, so say you're going above 12, you're 12 to 20, now you're in that endurance state. So that's like running for a longer time. Your muscles are still building, but it's all different ways to, I guess it depends on your programming and what your goals are. And that's where you put all these together.
Yeah, honestly, super well said. The only other thing I would add on workouts is, I just talked to a client about this earlier, is you're never, until we rehab or can do the motion the right way, using the right muscles, you're not going to really push super far on those big complex motions, because our body's hyper intelligent and it has a built-in safety mechanism. So if Patrick has some weakness in his low back and a small muscle that controls where his vertebrae sit to not interfere with his disc or his spinal cord, which is keeping him alive, and carrying all those signals, that muscle is going to shut down his ability to produce power. So hopefully that stops him from putting more weight on the bar or doing more exercise. And I bring this up a lot with patients where maybe you've hurt your back and you injure like right here to start, and then by the end of the day, it's like everywhere, and you're like kind of doing the Frankenstein walk, and you're like, my stupid back hurts so bad. I always tell those patients, I'm like, I know it sucks today, and this really hurts, but you should be really thankful for the way your body's responding to this, because if those muscles didn't lock up because of that injury, it puts your spinal cord essentially inside of a cigar cutter. And if there's movement there, you're going to have a serious injury. And those aren't the type of injuries that you come to see us for, because that's past.
Can't fix that.
So not to be scary, but when we're talking about our workouts, Pat's talking about the different intentions on those rep ranges, but maybe you do want to be really powerful. If you've never ever worked out before, we're not going to start out with you trying to do those 1 to 3 rep ranges and really pushing heavy, big weights. Neurologically, we got to get used to the pattern. You need to get your body used to that. So just know that these tips that we're giving you, it's within reason of where are you at. And if you're not sure how to start, definitely reach out to us. We can kind of guide you on that. But please know it's really important to master correct mechanics, and then we can, and this can happen fast, but we can ramp these things up. Let's talk about some supplements. I think a lot of people start here when they want to increase their strength or their performance.
It's like it's like a $9 billion. This is a random number, but I thought it was like a $9 billion like business or something ridiculous.
It's large. Venturing to say definitely top 10. People tend to try to start here though for making those changes, and it's in the name, right? It's to supplement our diet and what we put in. So we've talked in the beginning about giving ourselves the right fuel so we can repair ourselves, so we can fuel ourselves for the workout. Most of that comes from our diet. And if you are not getting those kind of 3-4 square meals where we're getting most of that nutrition, this is where supplements come in. And there's nothing wrong with supplements. It just, you need to know what's right for you. And there's only a few global supplements that we're like every single person should take. But outside of that, it really comes down to what you eat in your diet and what your goals are.
Mm-hmm. You can spend dollar after dollar on these things that promises these big gains. But in reality, you should be getting it through your nutrition and through your exercise and your recovery. But there are some supplements that do exactly that. They're just an addition. You're getting your levels up to here through your nutrition, then you're just supplementing the rest because you can't get it through the rest of your, your nutrition and your diet. But people rely on it and they just bank on this being the save all. But if you aren't up here and you're just supplementing down here, this is the goal. You're not getting there. So you got to put it all together. And there's different types. There's BCAs, which are branch change amino acids that can help fuel in the recovery of the body, help with protein synthesis, build up the muscles. Sam's going to go over a few, like making sure your greens are good and all those different types of things. But overall, just remember, they aren't the save all be all. You have to work to get up to that level where those are going to be a game changer for you.
A couple that we can start with are vitamins. There's a few that we're just known to be deficient in. Vitamin D is one of them. Even in super sunny places. We were just in a conference a few weeks ago, and they showed a map of the United States. And 0 to 10 rated how well people were with their vitamin D. And you would assume that the sunnier places, we're in San Diego, and then you look on the other side, pretty even with Florida right there. And both of them, even in Tampa, 3 was the highest in the whole country. So 0 to 10, we're a 3. Vitamin D, super low. So that's one a lot of patients supplement. We have what's kind of like our core few supplements. Vitamin D, a fish oil, because most people do not eat enough fish within their diet to get that recommendation, especially having more of that omega-3 and disrupting that balance. We're going to have more 3 than 6. So correcting the ratio is what's really important, and that's what the supplementation can help you with. Vitamin A, D, and K, we usually do together because those are all pretty common to be limited. For a lot of people, we do B vitamins, but that's not an every single person thing. Another thing I would say is protein. Because we're talking about performance. Myself personally, for a long time, I wanted to be, Schwarzenegger. And I was also being a runner. Yeah, I was a Division I athlete at the time, and I was running. That made 0 sense to want to put on muscle more of like that than just sports performance. And ultimately, I was burning way too much to have that caloric surplus to build muscle simultaneously. So after that, when I went to grad school, that was really a goal. I wanted to put on muscle, and I really tracked protein. I'll keep this super simple, but I simply just wanted to take in 5 more grams of my body weight each day. And I bring this up because one thing that super highlighted was I was so close a lot of these days to having enough protein to actually build muscle. And without me tracking that, and I really don't like to track things, But if you are trying to gain muscle and you've really, you're a hard gainer, you have a hard time eating enough naturally to get there, tracking just the protein is a great start. You only have to do it for a while to build a baseline of meals, shakes, snacks, combo that gets you to that number. But getting the protein, obviously protein is one of the biggest supplements out there. It is a supplement. And this is something we can add to your diet, because it may just be that 20 grams of protein at night is a difference for you to build muscle. So if that's a goal, that's one add.
And these all tie back right into the recovery. If you aren't supplementing in the right way, then your body doesn't have those nutrients to actually recover and rebuild. And so that's how you can use these in a efficient manner, but don't just expect them to do all the work for you. You still got to put in the work. One thing I want to summarize from these first 4, because we do have 5, is all these do affect your hormones, and hormones control your body, especially strength and performance. So if you're doing these types of things, recovery with your sleeping, that's when your body produces a lot of these hormones, which help your strength and performance. If you're fueling your body right, helps increase those levels and keeps them down, as well as your workouts. Certain workouts, the types, high intensity workouts, weightlifting, stimulate specific hormones. And same thing with the supplements. You're helping your body get to the levels that it needs to so you can perform.
On that note, the one I didn't add on the supplements is getting in your greens. A lot of us, even if we do eat salad or eat some roughage in our diet, it's not enough. So making sure your bases are covered, getting a really good greens supplement. In this day and age, a lot of them are flavored where it's nothing like greens. It's, lemonade flavor. So it's very easy as a powder to get that in, but it's hyper important because a lot of these little like minerals that are in greens are catalysts for these chemical processes that have to happen for you to release the hormones. And that's why we kind of say like you're missing it by just a little bit. And we see this when we do blood draws with people and we analyze their labs. I'm not just making it up, but that's the last thing to add on the supplements. But like Pat said, all 4 of these so far, they impact our hormones both ways, good or bad. Depends what we're doing. Let's get into the last one.
Ooh, number 5. Stretching. It's my favorite, just like running is my favorite. Not so much, but it is extremely important. If you're putting your body through that strenuous type workouts or you're sitting at the computer all day, you need to stretch. A lot of the reason why is when you, break down those muscles, like we talked about before, when you're working out and those muscles tend to break, we're trying to repair them. But if they're repairing like this or all crunched up and not on that straight line, you're not going to have those big gains that we want. So you need to help stretch to maximize the effect and also realign those fibers, and it also improves your mobility. If you just do quick little workouts like this, that short range, you don't see the gains. But if I'm going through a full range because my body's working in that long time, those workouts are more effective.
Yes. And to continue to have your workouts to be effective, you have to continue to be able to work out, which means you don't want to be injured. And that's where stretching comes in for the other part. That's where most of us know stretching from. Any high school sports or recreation, we have a stretch out, warm up. That's what stops you from being injured, right? Well, it's very important, especially when we talk about performance, to stretch those muscles out and get them ready for the activity. Patients ask us a lot, what type of warm-up should I do when I'm at the gym? And I typically recommend you want to just do something that gets your heart rate up. So you want to do something to kind of break a little bit of a sweat, meaning I would rather you go and do like 5 minutes on the bike at a really slow, low pace and just get your heart warmed up rather than coming in cold. So imagine you're sitting in a cubicle all day. This is all the cubicle people are, I guess.
They just look like T-Rexes.
Never seen someone like this, but everyone's this. But hyper exaggerated if I'm like this, and then that's my all day. I'm going to go into the gym and do bench press. It's like I just spent all day with this being shortened, and now I'm going to take that cold muscle and go right into like a pec doorway stretch. So I'm going to be super effective. We want to get the muscles warmed up and loosened, and typically save our static stretching until the end. So more dynamic stretching in the beginning, if and when you can make that sport specific. If I was going to go run, I would start with walking and do a little bit of a jog. So making it as sport specific as we can.
So those are pretty much it. Stretching isn't that exciting, but it's extremely important and it helps you work out harder and longer for the rest of your life. So extremely important.
I'm going to add one more on stretching.
Ooh.
And we didn't do it justice. We say this all the time. Our body, if you've heard of the myofascial system, that connects everything in our body. So when we talk about stretching, I often tell patients, imagine your body, it's like a skin-tight wetsuit. So if you're cut that wetsuit, you have a big gash in it, and we stitch that back together, it creates all these other wrinkles and like lines of distortion. And that's what happens in our body. So when you have that old injury and those muscles are kind of knotted up and tightened in that area, that's how it starts to affect all these other areas. And really, aging is just how we mitigate all of our injuries as we go through life. Because if you're not adding up all these different stitches and stuff on your shirt, you can still move just like you can when you're 15. And the better we are at that, and like Pat said, hormones, that's a part of it. Hormones go down as we age. But a lot of these things are to control how much of it you can stop from going down, but how much you control for actually keeping them up.
Exactly. So we're going to tie all these together to finish off tonight. So the 5 tips that we went through were recovery, fuel, working out, actually, supplementing, and stretching. All those you need consistency with. You can't just do one of them and expect the best. You can't just do one each day. You got to put them all together. And it's a vicious cycle if you don't. When people are, we're going to use the word overweight, and they don't have as much muscle mass, when they work out, their body doesn't have as much stimulus as someone that's like an athlete. And so you got to be consistent. And when you start adding on more muscle mass, you start losing a little bit of fat. It builds upon each other. Mm-hmm. Versus if you're really overweight, don't have as much muscle mass, your hormones aren't in the right level. So the little stimulus that you do get isn't near as much as someone like LeBron James. He can do a bench press, and guess what? His levels are going to be a lot better than yours on this end. But it's about consistency and working your way up. And then you get into the fun part. Now the workouts that you're doing are providing better stimulus to your body. Now your body's used to using the fuel, and it's ready to perform, and it just builds upon itself, and you get that positive feedback loop. And so consistency is key.
Yeah, the consistency, like Pat said, everything builds on top of each other. And you may be sitting here and saying, I really was hoping to get this, like these tips that I'd never heard before, and it was just like completely game changer. I wish we knew those, and I promise me I spend every day looking for them. But the fact of the matter is, it's simple things done consistently, but done together. And we didn't just give you 5 random things. These are the 5 best things that you have to tie together to actually improve your performance and your strength. Do you have anything else to add, sir?
No. Get out there. Go enjoy your life. Go recover. Go fuel yourself. Go work out. But make sure to stretch and enjoy those gains. Enjoy how your body feels. And come back and see us next.
Yeah, I was just checking
your tips.
We are going to be back again live on the 24th at 6 p.m. I don't know what we're going to talk about yet.
It's going to be exciting, though.
It's going to be very exciting. So I hope you enjoyed these tips. Please share this with somebody that needs to know. And if you had any questions, leave them in the comments or reach out to us directly. Sam at Fixed Body Group, Patrick at Fixed Body Group. We love talking with you guys. Can't wait to see you again soon.
See you guys the 24th.
Later. Watch while we awkwardly turn this off.
Just stare at the camera. Got it. Oh, no, didn't get it yet.